All right, yes. So I wanted to create another deep work session on the filtering process for the indices. And I've been thinking in the meantime, because I've not created a video for a while right now. And last video was, I believe, 14th of August. And that's a while ago. No, September, 14th of September. Sorry, that was August. That's too long ago. But September right here. And the thing is, I've also been thinking in the meantime, of course, because I've not been sitting still. But the thing is, mainly with the indices filtering process, and since I have also been trading the indices for some time right now with the flow trading plan, I've been thinking about the RTH and stuff. And for me, I don't really like it. As in theory, yes, it might be nice. In actual applying the things, so in the actual reality of things, I think it's not that beneficial. I don't think it's that nice. So then I was also thinking about the filtering process itself, because the filtering process itself is creating arguments. And why don't we just do that for the indices as well? That's the exact same thing, no? So it's like, I don't really understand this. As in, I don't understand my thought process behind that. I created, or I wanted to create something. I was overthinking it. Let's put it that way. I was overthinking it, where I was creating something that didn't need to be created because it already existed. And I have no idea why I overlooked that fact as well. So I like the idea of the RTH. It's just that maybe it's a bit too far. As in, it's not that deep. It's you look too far for a solution. That's what I thought, and that's what I've been thinking about as well. Especially since I was trading the indices actively as well, and I wanted to show you an example right here of the last time, because the last piece of price action we went through was on the 26th of June, where we were using RTH, etc. And I just want to create a filtering process the exact same way that you would do for your Forex, which is just arguments. And I have no idea why at that moment in time I was so busy with the RTH stuff, etc. I was trying to it's not a bad thing. As in, I don't think it's a bad thing, because without that, without me looking at that, I couldn't have come to this conclusion. As in, I couldn't have thought of this. I first needed to sort of go over that and think, no, this is not what I want. This is not really what I like to see. So the next part is, all right, I've been trading it for a while right now. And now I thought, you just use the arguments the same way as you use in your normal filtering process. Why did I overthink it that much? That's what I don't understand. So right here, what I want to do, I don't have my timer currently. The battery is empty. Bit of a shame. But right here, I want to take you through my thought process on the indices filtering process. And again, we can finalize this a little bit more, but especially this is already finalized because this is already in the content itself. So I have two things that I want to talk about. And the main two things is we have a process where if we create a filtering process, we first off have the filtering process where we select 3 indices and we think it's going higher, for example. For example, here on NASDAQ, we think it is going higher overall. So then you would compare this to ES and to YM as well. All right, why do you think this instrument would be better to trade right now than an ES, than a YM, etc.? Well, the arguments we could make, if we have this weekly fair value gap and we go into the 4-hour, for example, then right here we can see NASDAQ is just continuing higher very nicely, has a nice ST. All right, okay, nice. Then we compare that to ES. ES has a lot more bullish intention, because we didn't even create that ST right there. We have a lot more bullish intention. So does it want to deliver faster towards that draw liquidity right there? It might want to, yes. So that is, again, the first argument where, or that's actually already the finalizing argument, where we could say, then I would like to trade ES over NASDAQ in the moment, because there's a lot more bullish intention on ES. So it might deliver very fast, might deliver easier, etc. It's just a stronger instrument at that moment. Then YM is not really relevant right here because YM didn't even come into a weekly Verwijgap or anything. But let's pick the other scenario where, for example, we have a daily Verwijgap or a weekly Verwijgap. Well, let's see it like this actually. If we have this breaker right here and we want to trade off of that breaker, we can select the exact same breaker on NASDAQ and YM. If they don't have that breaker, then that already indicates right here that here we are trading off of one fair value gap, one discount array in a sense, right? Here we are trading off of two discount arrays right there. That already increases the odds. So that already is another argument right there that ES is better to trade right there. Then the next part is, again, that what I wanted to go over is that if you have that breaker and you had the same breaker on NASDAQ and YM, and only ES comes into that breaker, into your PD rate to trade off of, then of course, that is the one you want to be trading. Why is that? And that is also for if you want to use SMT. That's a very easy thought process. Because if we're all bullish on YM, NASDAQ, and ES, and we just select the discount array that we are continuing higher off of, most likely on all those indices, then the one, so the indices, the one instrument that does come into the discount array, that is the one we want to be trading. And that also creates what? That also creates SMT. So if you're using SMT, it's already incorporated into your plan just by looking at this, for example. You're just looking at the filtering process for the indices as well. So that is exactly my thought process here, where ES in that moment has more arguments going for it. So that is what you want to be trading. And that's the same thing we saw in recent price action right here, which was a live session as well. And I went over it in a breakdown video. I think whichever week it was 2 weeks ago. In that breakdown video, I think I went over it, or was previous week? No, it was last week. Last week. So that's week 43 off the top of my head. So at that moment, we had NASDAQ still with the clear drawn liquidity in the form of the monthly high right there. And NASDAQ also had a lot more bearish intention. Why was that? Because on the 1 hour, I'm aiming at this price action right there, that piece of price action. On the 1 hour, we did not have a bullish Verwijgap. We look at ES. Then we can see, where am I? Then we can see right here, that same price action, we did create a bullish Verwijgap, indicating that in that moment, you would like to trade NASDAQ over ES because there's more bearish arguments for NASDAQ right there. So that is, again, very easy, the filtering process. And that is why ES actually gave a loss right there and NASDAQ did not. So that is very nice. And that is just very simple, the filtering process. So it's the RTH things. I like it, but I do believe I was overthinking it in a sense. But I am going to keep the videos as well on there because it's a great way of seeing how you would use deep work session. And I do want to do that more often as well. And the funny thing about that is when you combine deep work sessions with your actual trading as well, that's where the greatest benefits come from. Because deep work sessions is more so, how is this in theory? And then you actually trade, which is very important, of course. Then you see how does this actually go, or how do you actually use this in reality? So how do you actually go about this in your practical ways of viewing price action, etc.? That is important. So then you come up with the best ideas, combine that real trading with those deep work sessions as well. That is very important. But I like the videos because they still go over the fact on how to do deep work, and you can see how the ideas come into my mind as well. But then once I applied to live trading, I didn't like it that much. So then again, it's like, all right, then why not just do it like this? So that is where the practicality is way more important than the theory as well. So that is what I wanted to go over right here. Just a quick thought right here. And I will also continue with the deep work sessions, but that's just what I've been thinking about those filtering process. That it's just, I don't know, I overcomplicated in my eyes, I overcomplicated it, and it shouldn't be like that. It should just be the arguments, which we've been talking about for a very long time, just using the arguments. And the arguments is super easy to go over as well. And that's also if you can look at arguments, it's a very mechanical way of finding your filtering process as well. So that is what we are going to build on from now. All right, perfect. Thank you.